I'm good. Right, so good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about navigating the MLS. Some of you have already taken this class, but it's always good to take a refresher. There's always things that you're going to learn, and new things you're going to learn. Maybe something you forgot about that that you can do. And the first thing we're going to do here is go to crmls.org, which takes you to me. Takes you to this page, and then you're going to click on login, which then takes you to this page. And you should have your credentials by now. If you don't, you're gonna have to call the Orange County Realtors Board and then pay your dues and get your login credentials. So we're gonna click on login. And the first things that I wanna talk about after I get into, right now, we're just gonna talk about the MLS. So we're gonna click on Matrix here. There's a few other tools here, but we're just gonna do the MLS. So we're gonna click on Matrix. And the first thing I wanted to talk about or cover is going up to your settings. So on the top right-hand corner, you're gonna click on your name. So hello, Jonathan, or hello, Yancy, and then click on settings. And you're gonna make sure that your information is correct. So you're gonna go through this. Make sure your email is correct, your website, your contact number, cell phone number, office number, if you want that on there. If you want to add a fax number, if you want someone to fax you from 1980. You can click on header and footer.
Like what?
You can add a photo, and this header should appear on custom searches. I haven't seen it on the new custom emails that you send out with properties. I don't think this is what it looks like, but this is where you can customize all the information. So whatever information you enter down here is going to show up on the banner up on top. And this is the header, and I believe footer is probably the same thing. And then the MLS provides you with a CMA creator tool, and you can also make sure that you have that correct contact information on that CMA cover page. Email signature. Make sure you customize your signature here. And if you're coming from a different office, make sure that this is updated with the new office, the new brokerage. And then one home, this is going to be the information that's going to show up on the custom property results you send out to your clients. All right, so with that being said, let's go back here. And let's talk about the dashboard. So this is your dashboard, and within the dashboard, you're going to see a few different modules here. You can customize these modules. It probably looks different on yours because you can move these around. If you click on the blue bar, hold it down and drag it, you can move it around. This is how I like mine set up, so I'm just going to leave it this way. The top left corner, you're going to see news and alerts. I think that's more anytime there's like the CRMLS is having updates or they're closed for tech support, things like that, or there's a new tool or something, it's going to show up there. My favorite searches, you can create a search, save the search, and also have it show up on your favorites. So it's like a quick link that you can access instead of having to go to My Matrix, save searches, and then look through your searches. So we'll go into that a little bit later, but just want to show you what that is. External links. These are a bunch of different tools that you can use. You have, I don't know if anybody uses all of these tools. If anything, you're probably going to use one or two tools. The main one that people use is Realtor Property Resource. This one. Everything else, I don't know of anybody. Cloud CMA, but you're going to use this after you do your search, so you don't have to go directly into it. And I'll show you guys. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's see. This Market Watch, you could set this up for a particular neighborhood. Like if you farm a particular neighborhood, you can set it up under Customize to give you daily. It's live, right? So it's going to show you what, if anything came on the market as coming soon today, or anything that's just coming soon in general. How many new listings there are today, how many price changes there are today, back on the market today, and so forth, how many closed today, and you can go back 3 days and see same information, but for the past 3 days, for 7 days, so forth. To customize this, you're gonna click on customize here. You're gonna add the county, the city, all the criteria that you want. So like Zach, in your case, you're gonna look for, what's the city that you're farming?
Lake Forest.
Lake Forest, you're gonna narrow down to that particular farm, and that's it. You're not gonna add anything else, because you wanna know what 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, everything that's sold or that came active on the market today, or the last 3 days, whatever, on a quick search. So let's go back home. I have mine set up for income properties. I wanna know how many income properties came on the market in Orange County, not just for a particular city, but in Orange County. The main thing I look at is the expired and canceled. Because if something expired or canceled, they probably still want to sell, but maybe they're not happy with their agent or something. I'm not saying to reach out to them, because you can't use this information to reach out to expired listings or canceled listings, but I'm just saying, if you saw a sign up and then it's not there anymore, then you can probably reach out to them. But you can't use this information to reach out to potential sellers. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Because this is for informational purposes only, not for you to look for people to solicit. So if you say, Mr. Seller or Mr. Homeowner, I just saw in the MLS that your listing expired, would you like to work with me? You can't do that. But if you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I saw that your for sale sign just came down and noticed it didn't sell, are you looking to work with another agent? You can do that.
Are there other websites that show these?
I don't know. I think there's services that'll send you expired information, canceled information. But this is good for information, but if you are going to approach an expired or canceled listing, don't say, I saw in the MLS that your listing canceled, because you can't do that.
What's the difference between withdrawn and canceled?
Withdrawn means they're still under contract. But it still shows up in the MLS. So let's say you're the homeowner, I have a listing contract with you for a year. And you say, Carlos, I don't know, I want to cancel the listing. And I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, my broker doesn't allow me to cancel the listing, I can withdraw it. In the meantime, you can't sign with anybody else, because if you do, I'm still entitled to commission, because we have a 1-year contract. So what I would do is I would just withdraw from the MLS, and other agents see it's withdrawn but not canceled or expired. So they're not gonna try to approach you. And if they do, they're gonna ask you, hey, when does your listing expire? So I can call you back then. And if if I decide, or talk to Rich and, hey, let's just let this person go, then we cancel it, then a bunch of agents are gonna approach you and say, hey, give me the listing, I wanna sell your house. So that's the difference. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So I know you recently changed that when you're doing BRBC, the maximum you can do is 90 days.
Yes.
And if it's a listing agreement, it can be as long as a year. Is that right?
I don't think there's a limit.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So anyway, this is like if you're farming an area and you want to know if anything came on the market or expired, this is a good way of doing it. So you can change it to residential. I have it on residential income, but you can go to residential. You could do leases, all these different types. Any listings that you have or inventory are going to show up here. And anything that you've listed before. There's 2 searches here on the homepage. There's this search, the search bar, and then there's this search module. If you enter a property address, let's say somebody calls you up and says, hey, Zach, I'm interested in the property on 123 Main Street in the city of Irvine. It's for sale. You can look up, I don't know, I'm just gonna type in a property I know. Don't put in the city, don't put any commas, don't put lane, north, south, any directions, just type in the number and the street name and hit enter. It'll show you anytime that property's ever been listed, if it's on the market, when it was sold, if it was canceled at some point, the whole history of that property. And then if you scroll over to the right, it'll show you when that was listed or when that happened. And if someone calls you up about a lease, it's not gonna show up on here, but it will show up if you type it over here on this search module, in the search module. So I'm gonna type in 42 Juneberry, only the number and the street name, and then it's gonna show me anytime it's been sold or leased. So if it's on the market for lease, it's gonna show up here. And I don't have to go do a full search where I go to search residential, Orange County, and this, to do that. I just go here and look for it there. So this is like a quick search type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess that's pretty much it. Okay, now that we talked about what's on the dashboard, let's talk about what's up here on the navigation bar. So if you hover over matrix, home takes you here. Summary, I don't know what summary is. Let's see. Okay, how many contacts, how many listings you have? Okay. Carts, this is, you can save certain searches to a contact, I believe. And you can add a cart. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I'm showing you guys how to search and how to email and all that stuff. Everything else we can look into later on. Contacts, you can add contacts here and then assign certain searches to those contacts. You can go to auto emails. When you set a contact up in an auto email, it saves the auto email here. So you can assign it again to a client. It'll show any auto emails you have saved on here. So if I have 10 clients that I set up on auto emails, they're all gonna show up here. If I wanna cancel one or end one, I can cancel it here. Save searches. Save searches are different from auto emails. The auto email is set up to automatically email anytime a listing shows up on the MLS, comes back on the market, or there's a price reduction. Save searches is just a save search that's not gonna auto email. You can just go to your save searches section and just click on the search and look at the results, instead of you having to type in all the criteria all over again. And when you go to save searches, if you want something to show up on the homepage under the favorites, you're going to check this box that says enable favorite search. And I'll show you guys after we do a search how this is gonna come up. But you see this Tustin 2 to 4 units? We go back to my homepage. There it is right there. All right. CMAs, any CMAs that you create that you save. I recommend that you create CMAs in Cloud CMA, and we have a class on that. As a CMA that this does is not very, it's not aesthetically, pleasing to the eye than the Cloud CMA. Watch listings, you can follow a listing and just see, let's say you kind of have your eye on a listing and you're not interested in buying. Look, let's say a listing that you're interested in potentially driving around to see if the for sale sign has been removed, right? And it hasn't sold, and you're watching this listing and you realize, oh, this listing hasn't sold, and you drive by and you see if there's no for sale sign, then you can approach the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. My listings, any listings that you have that are active are gonna show up here. Let's go to search. So under search, let me go back over here. You hover over search, there's a residential search you can do, residential income, this is for 2+ units. Residential lease, if you're looking for a lease for a client, for a tenant that's, looking for, let's say they want a 2-bedroom in City of Irvine, it's gonna show up here. Manufactured in parts, so this is like a mobile home, commercial property. So commercial, this is gonna have a limited supply of commercial properties. There's LoopNet and CoStar, that's kind of like their MLS for commercial properties, and the fees for that are like the crazy fees to join that search or MLS system. Disaster relief rental, I haven't even seen that before, haven't noticed that. Cross property search, so if you're looking for a property, I guess this does the same thing as the search on the right does. It'll search anytime if it's active or sold or listed for sale or for lease, I mean. That's what that does. Open house, you can look up open houses for a particular city, broker previews, things like that. So like today, if I want to look for broker previews in Orange County, I can go in there to see. Or if I want to see what open houses are going on this weekend in Fountain Valley, I can find it here. Public records, I believe that's tax records. Let's go, add edit. This is where you're gonna add a new listing for sale or for lease. And when you click on add edit, you're gonna click on add new. Whether it's residential lease, residential income, or any of these other types. Let's say I have one for sale, residential for sale. I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but there's gonna be like this whole form that you have to fill out where it asks you for the address, the parcel number, different features of the property that gives you like a whole list that you can check off. Is there a downstairs bedroom? Is there a fireplace where's there a fireplace in the bedroom, in the living room, in the family room, in the bathroom, all these options, right? So you gotta go through and check all these freaking options, but we're not gonna talk about this today, just wanna show you what that is. So let's go straight to the search. I'm gonna go back home. Just to the dashboard here. Hover over residential, hover over search residential and detail. And there's a couple of different ways of doing a search. The first way is I'm looking for anything that's active. And I only want a single family detached, so property subtype is gonna be single family residence. And I want it to be detached, so you're gonna go down here, and I don't know why they don't just say, have you select a detached or attached. Property attached, no. Just doesn't make any sense. So, and you can narrow it down even more. I don't like to whittle it down too much because you're gonna have less results. So the more results you have, then you can start whittling it down, right? But for now, anything that's active, single family detached. And where in Orange County? Let's just select Orange County. And then where, let's say, what city, Lake Forest? You can either select it from the list or type it in. And any particular area?
Lake Forest and Law.
Let's do Lake Forest North. So right now it's telling me that there's 22 matches. And let's say my buyer wants a 3-bedroom. So I'm gonna look for 3-bedroom plus. And so that's another thing. When you are searching for in these fields like price, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, you can use the plus or minus after. So in this case, I'm saying 3 bedrooms plus. That means 3 bedrooms or more. I could do 3 bedrooms minus. That means 3 bedrooms or less. I could do 3-4. I only want 3 to 4 bedrooms. If you're gonna do the price, you can do $1.5 million minus 500. Is that too many? Oops. Oh, no. What happened here?
You just broke the.
Okay, you guys still there, right? Okay, good. I was trying to get that outside. So minus, that means, is that $1,500,000? Yes, or less. Right? Or I could do $1,500,000 to 2 million. Right? So that's anything in between. But for now, let's see, or less. There's nothing. Oh yeah, there's 22 matches. Wasn't there less matches?
No, it stayed the same.
Before I hit that, before I type in that price?
Stayed the same.
Okay. I'm gonna remove the price. I'm not gonna limit it to the price, but typically you're gonna have a buyer that's pre-approved for a certain amount. So if they're pre-approved for $1.5 million, I'm gonna look for $1.6 million because there's some negotiating room in there. Maybe, you can negotiate the price down. I don't like to add bathrooms because that narrows it down even more. So I'm just gonna see what's available, 3 bedrooms or more. And then down here, I'm gonna click on results, or I can click on results up here, or I can click on map. So I'm gonna click on map just to see where they're located. So I click on map. And then it shows me, this is where they're located. I can zoom in to the map. And One extra thing you can do here is narrow down even more. And say, you know what, my client is only interested in, I don't know, I'll do the polygon tool. In this area here, I'm gonna click there. Click there, click there. Click there, and click there. And close it off. And now it's only gonna show me exactly the area that I selected, right? What's available in that area. And I can click on results. And when I click on results, it gives me like a little summary of the list of the properties. And the listing ID is what the listing is, it's an ID assigned to the particular listing. And you're gonna notice that they're different, they start with different letters, depending on which board you belong to. The listing agent, that's those are the letters that are gonna show up first. So this agent belongs to the Newport board. This agent belongs to the Pacific West board. This agent belongs to the Orange County Realtors board. That's the only difference, and then whatever number shows up after. The S here is for status, so these are all active. Subtype, single family detached. You're also gonna see condo, you're also gonna see townhouse. Let's see, street number, street name, city, area, and then type of sale. This is standard. You might see trust or standard or bank owned. There's different types, but typically you're gonna see standard. List price, close price, that's what the LC is. And right now, because it has a sold, there's no close price, it just shows you the list price. And the little arrow next to it tells you that the price went down. If there's a green arrow going up, that means the price went up. So they've already reduced the price here on these four. This is average price, actually price per square foot based on this price. Right here, bedrooms and bathrooms. So the first number is bedrooms. On the left of the slash, after the slash, it's all bathrooms. So the first number after the slash is full bathrooms. The second number is 3/4 bath. The next one is half bath, and the last one is quarter bath. Do you guys know what the difference is between full, 3/4, half, and quarter?
Sorry.
Okay. All right, so let's move on here. Square footage. This is a square footage, and then /A per the assessor, or /B would be per the builder, or I think P could be public records. So there's different sources, right? But the square footage is the number. And then the next column is year built. And then again, per the assessor. And the next column is the lot size. And it's gonna have the square footage and then the acreage also. The next column is days on market, along with cumulative days on market. And cumulative days on market could be different from days on market. So this is a perfect example down here. The new contract, with the new listing contract, they've been on the market for 74 days. But what could have happened here is, let's say Jonathan had the listing for 100 days. Expired or canceled or whatever happened. And then Joe got the listing right after. So now it's gonna show 100 cumulative days. And then on the first day you add it to the MLS, 0 days, and then the next day it'll be 1 day, and it'll be 101 cumulative days, and that number keeps going up. That means how many days it's been on the market. Right? The only way that number resets is if the property is off the market for 90 days. So that's the only way to reset it. So if you want to start from 0, 0/0, you have to wait 90 days and then start the listing again. And another cool thing about this is when you click on these days on market, it tells you a story. It tells you a story about the property. So let's click on this 128 days here. Look at everything that happened. This is a pretty good one to show you guys. Because let's see, let's go back. Right here, they dropped it, they reduced the price from $1,650,000 to $1,630,000. And then they reduced it again right here on this date, so 17 days later. And then they went from active to active under contract, so they accepted an offer here. And then it sold, it closed here. But let's go back to it's probably, this is the one here. So this looks like it was the beginning of the listing, the first listing here. It went active on this date, they put it on hold in like a month later. And then they went back to active the very next day, and then they went back to hold. And went back to active, and then it expired. February 1st. And then on February 5th, they relisted it. And it's with the same agent, because here's the agent's MLS ID. So they relisted with the same agent. And they reduced the price in March. And then they went from active to active under contract, so they accepted an offer. But then they went back to active, so something happened with that offer. It's pretty cool, right? You guys kind of see the story of what goes on. So if you see something like this where a property goes in and out of escrow, there's probably something wrong with the property. Right? Because maybe the buyer did their inspection, they're like, you know what, we don't want this, too much hassle, too much work. The next buyer, they did their inspection, hey, too much work, we don't want it, whatever the reason. Or maybe the seller's difficult to deal with, who knows? But at least you know that you're in for a treat, right? When you submit an offer, yes.
So what's the difference between pending and hold? Like, is there a pending?
Hold means hold do not show, hold, it stops the days on market when you put it on hold. So let's say the seller is gonna leave the country and they're like, hey, I don't want any activity in my house while I'm gone, so let's put it on hold. So that means that tells other agents, don't show the property, where for some reason it's on hold. You don't have to explain why, but you can't show the property, don't submit offers, nothing like that. When it's there, so that you're probably wondering the difference between pending and active under contract. That's a more, I guess, more valid question, because people are like, well, when is it active under contract and when is it pending? If both accepted offers, right? So pending means people usually go to active under contract first. And then after the contingencies are all removed, they'll change it to pending. But when you go to pending, it also stops days on market. If you leave it on active under contract, the days keep moving. So now it's 5 days on the market, 6 days on the market, 7 days on the market. And that means that you're accepting backup offers, right? I like to go straight to pending because I don't want the days to add up in case something doesn't work out and you have to go back on the market. Now you just added 20 more days to your days on market because you didn't change it to pending. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
But with active under contract, if you can still show the property, have other agents show the property, submit offers, backup offers, just in case. But pending is pretty much like I said, most agents change it to pending once contingencies are removed. And but pretty much almost certainly it's gonna close.
Is there a way to change like the lockbox when you put it on hold to like not have any agents use it?
Yes,
There is.
Yeah. right. So any questions on this?
How frequent should you reduce the price?
It's gonna be, there's no like formula. It's just when your clients are okay with it, because sometimes, my example. I had a listing where it was drastically overpriced, and I let the owners know that it was, that price is too high, it's just gonna sit there. And then after, I think, a month and a half, I convinced them to reduce it, and they reduced it by a pretty good amount, but still nowhere close to where it needs to be. And I kept updating them with everything that's come on the market, that's gone into escrow within a few days, because it was priced right, everything that closed and what it closed for. And I kept sending updates and updates and updates, and hey, we're still overpriced, we should bring it down. Oh, we're okay with the price, if, we just want what we want, if someone offers it, then we'll sell it, if not, then we don't have to sell. But, so you have people like that, right? And then you have people that are more realistic that say, hey, I want this price. But if we don't get any offers, then I'm willing to reduce the price rate. And that's the conversation you can have with the seller when you're at the listing presentation, listing appointment, saying, hey, I understand this is what you want to get, but let's make a plan in case we don't get any offers. We can't let it sit on the market for too long, before we reduce the price, because buyers are gonna wonder, what's wrong with that house? Why is it still on the market? And why are they reducing the price now? So maybe after a week or 2 weeks, right? Because that's not too many days in the market. But there's no like science to it, it's just whatever your sellers are willing to do. Whatever you can convince them to do, because you're the expert, you know what homes are selling for, right? They just know what they want, doesn't mean they're gonna get it. So let me click on one of these listings here. When I click on the listing, on the MLS ID, it shows me the agent full report. So now we have pages. So all of this on the right-hand side is pretty much what you saw on that summary for that listing. If you click on the picture, you can scroll through the pictures, it enlarges and you can scroll through them. Or you can just scroll through them here. Another thing you can do when you click on the picture is, what's that way here? You can look at the pictures this way. All right, there's a map, shows you where it's located. Let's scroll down. It shows you any open house dates. So these are the next open houses, when and what time. Listings, some are gonna have listing supplements. Sometimes this is a floor plan, sometimes this is like what they pay in taxes. Let's see what this person has. That's a floor plan. So there's that. Sometimes it's like a list of more features of the property, maybe upgrades or something. Let's see. Can you guys see the screen at home?
Yep.
Okay, it says I'm sharing the screen, okay. And then here's the description. So every listing agent is gonna come up with their own description of the property. A lot of agents are using ChatGPT for this. You just add all the features and it creates a nice, beautiful description of the property. You keep scrolling down, it shows you the area. So these are all the fields as a listing agent that you have to enter into the listing when you're entering the listing or adding it to the MLS. So you should know all this information, because this is what the buyer's agents are gonna see when they're looking for properties for their clients. So this is the area, Lake Forest North. Room types, there's a kitchen, living room, main floor bedroom, main floor primary bedroom. Are there common walls? No. There's a driveway, there's a garage. So you're gonna have to check a lot of the boxes, so that you can have this like as your final product, right? For people to see. So you should know everything you can about the property. And one of the things I suggest, and I bring that up during the listing class, what to do with the listing, is have a printout of the old MLS printout when, like, the last time it sold. And then any neighbors nearby on the same street, the same track, because that's gonna help you when filling this out. There's a lot of information in the previous listing and any other listings like adjacent to it, that'll help you when filling this out, answering the questions. It just makes it go so much faster. You don't have to bother the seller as much, right? There's certain questions you might have to call them about. Hey, what type of flooring was it again? Or what type of counters were they again? Things like that. Let's scroll down here. Just more information about the property. If there's an HOA, it's gonna show you here. Some places have 2 HOAs. It's gonna have the HOA name and then the HOA phone number. But the HOA feature, you might have 1, you might have 2, you might have 0. Let's scroll down. School district. Again, the listing agent is gonna fill this out or not fill this out, and it's very helpful when you do add this to the listing, because what if somebody wants to move in for the school district? You just took this option away, or gave them more work to do. And let's see, contingencies, solar panels, private remarks. Okay, so under contingency, you might see contingent upon sellers finding a replacement property. So letting them know upfront, hey, the seller has to find property before we can close here. Private remarks, you would say like something like this: solar panels or leaks. You're letting them know upfront that they don't own the solar panels, or listing agent is related to seller, or death on property within the last 3 years, things like that. Let's see, this is agent showing, this is probably gonna be just your name, the agent's name, phone number. Showing instructions. They might say, there's gonna be different showing instructions, so make sure that if you are gonna show properties. Look here before you go into the property, because they might say. Go direct, there's a lockbox there. Okay, so you just go direct. It might say, contact listing agent prior to showing and wait for approval. So you have to do that, or use showing time. Showing time is an app that there's usually a button here. When you can use showing time, which allows you to schedule a showing. It'll pull up a calendar and tell you what time slots are already taken and what's available. And then once you select your time slot, it notifies the listing agent, the agent approves it. Now you have your time slot that you can show. So there's different showing instructions, or maybe they'll say, don't show between, 8 AM and 5 PM. Or whatever it is. So make sure you follow instructions, because you can get fined for not following instructions.
Do you
There's,
recommend we do showing time, because it shows the seller that there's people walking through the hall?
if you're a listing agent. It's up to you if you wanna do that. I mean, they're gonna know regardless if you have a showing. Because the lockbox also prints out a detailed report of who showed up and when they showed it. So you can do that.
I see a lot of remarks saying, don't use showing time.
Yeah, I don't
On
know.
a lot of things, yeah, a lot of, in the directions they say, don't use showing time, just contact them directly.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then down here, you're gonna see who the listing agent is, their phone number, what brokers they belong to. And so forth. So this is the full display, and then there's different displays. You can say, I want the agent short display. Oh, no, that's not the one. Hold on. And then you have a few of them that you can print on the page. So there's different displays. You guys can mess around with these different displays. And it shows you, either summarized or a little bit more information on the full. So now let's go back to the search. Are you guys good with this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Where can you find if the home has like mellow roofs? Because the open house I did this past weekend, I guess there was mellow roofs in that area, but I didn't know. I couldn't find it on MLS, but I think it's in the tax assessment.
It normally is on the.
Is it?
Well, sometimes the agents will add on there that there are mellow roofs and what they are, and it should say there. Well, I think it's under HOA fees. Here, let me go to the full display. Let me click on one of them. Community, HOA, HOAs.
It's normally, whereas on the land part, where it says assessments,
Yeah, tax.
or special assessments, that's normally where it has the
Yeah.
others.
But sometimes the agents don't know, and they don't add it on.
Or wanna keep it.
Yeah, so you can go into the tax assessor's office, the property address. And then it'll show you if there's any special assessments or mellow roofs. If you know that area has mellow roofs, I mean, if you're farming the area, you should know if there are.
Cause someone walked in and he's like, this house over here has metal roofs, does this house have metal roofs? That's
So, yeah, they usually, if one house does it, the neighbor has it too. So,
Pretty much, I've done lots of viewings around Great Park, and they don't always put the mellows on, but they've all got mellows, they have, otherwise the roads.
yeah,
okay, so now let's go back to search. Another way you can search is, let me go back to detail. Is, let's say I want everything that's active around a particular listing, so I can just type in, what's an address? Joe, give me an address,
Here,
any address.
2801 Alton.
In Irvine? Okay. So I want to look for properties within 1 mile radius of this address. So maybe it's a school. You can type in the school address, or I don't know, maybe your mom's house, you want to live within 1 mile of your mother or something. I'm not gonna do anything else except I just want everything that's active, that's 2 bedrooms, around her house. There's 3 matches. So first of all, I want to click on the map because I want to see where they're located. So that red dot is my mother's house.
That is my mother's.
Oh, is it? It's
Oh,
Joe's
well,
mother's
right.
house. So now, you know, these are listings that are located within 1 mile of her house. She can walk there. And this one looks like the closest one right there. So that's another way of searching. Let me go back to criteria. Let me clear the location. Clear the map right there. Or you could look at a particular zip code. So I want to look in 92606. Anything that's active, 3 homes. It's probably the same 3. Um, Again, so let's go through this again with the price. You could do 1,500,000 or less, 1,500,000 to 2 million, or whatever the price range is. You could do 3 bedrooms plus, 3 bedrooms minus, 3 bedrooms dash 4, 3 to 4. And again, for bathrooms, I would just stay clear of adding bathrooms because it's gonna limit your results. And then you can again just narrow it down after that. Living area, you can do the same thing. I want more than 1,000 square feet, so 1,000 plus. Or 1,500, whatever it is, or between 1,000 and 1,200 square feet, whatever it is. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't know why you'd want less, but 1,000 or more. Garage spaces, I would just leave that alone, and then just again, once you get your results, then you can narrow it down from there. Year built, you can even do year built. I want anything built from 1990 or newer, so plus. Okay, let me clear all this stuff out here. Also on active, let's say we want to look up like do a market update for a particular neighborhood. Let me clear the results here. Let's say I want to look for everything that's active under contract, pending, and closed for the last 6 months. Or, let's see, Orange County. I want Irvine. And I want, let's do a Holden Strike. Let's do, what's this, Walnut. And then I'm gonna narrow down even more to attract. I want College Park, yep. And I'm gonna say, okay. And then there's 26 matches, actually now there's 7 matches. So let me click on results. And I'm gonna sort it by status here, so it's gonna bunch up all the solds, all the pendings, all the active contract. So there's nothing on the market now in that neighborhood, but it tells me what everything's sold for. So I can take this with me to an open house, if I'm doing an open house for that area. And when people ask questions, I'll say, oh, there's one that just sold, 2 weeks ago for this price, or there's something that's in escrow now that was on the market for this price, or the average days on market for this neighborhood are, there you go. But since I'm gonna be providing that information, let me do this. Once I get the results, I can click on stats here, and click on tabular, and that's gonna give me that information. So on the closed, average days on market is 11. It's your buyer, this is buyer, the average days on market in this neighborhood is 11 days. If you don't submit an offer now, it's gonna be gone. Today's day 9, it's gonna be gone in 2 days. You can even do this, like if you're looking for the 4 bedrooms or the 3 bedrooms, whatever it is, narrow down to all the 4 bedrooms, and then do an average days on market and then average price. So you could say the average price for the 4 bedroom is $1,576,000. Or the average price per square foot, whatever you want to do. This is a pretty cool tool here.
That's neat.
Let's see, what else can we do here?
Can you just quickly show how to search for the numbers via taxes and stuff?
Yeah, let me finish the class here, and then I'll do that after. let's say I want to email this to a client. I do my regular search, right? What I'm emailing the client, what the system saves is the criteria that I entered. So now I say I want to do, let's see. Fine. I'm gonna select all these. This is not gonna be an auto email, this is just emailing the client. So I'm just gonna email the client the results. Click on email, type in the email address, subject, type a message, and then hit send. That's just a one-time email. If you wanna do an auto email, you don't have to check anything. You're gonna click on save. Click on new auto email. And you have to create a contact if it's gonna be an auto email. So once you create that contact, you can select it from the list. Let's send it to myself. I created a test person. And I'm gonna say, College Park market update. And I can schedule this to go out monthly, because it's a market update. And that's it, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it up to go out monthly. So it's gonna send this out once a month. But if I wanna send out, let's say I have a buyer that's looking, so let me cancel all this. And I only wanna send my buyer anything that's active. I don't wanna send them anything that's sold. So let me go do a new search here. Let's create a new search. For everything that's active. So and angles, because there's gonna be a lot less listings here. Let's do, you're looking for 3-bedroom properties, okay, it's 5. All right, so I'm gonna go to results. And I'm only sending out active listings. So what I'm gonna do is, again, save. New auto email. Select my contact. Or set up a new contact. And say Anaheim Hills, new listings. Whatever you want to add to. No. Sorry, my cat's locked.
Doesn't matter, we get it.
Yeah, you get it, okay. And then what you wanna do is you're gonna check this box, the circle that says ASAP. It's gonna send out the email as soon as possible. It's gonna send out this first email with everything in it, but then they have to create an account. And once they create that account from that email you sent, that opens up the auto email, it sets up it initiates the auto email. So now anytime there's a new listing that meets that criteria, they're gonna get an email right away. If there's a listing that goes from pending back to active, back on the market, they're gonna get an email notifying them, hey, this came back on the market. If there's a price reduction on a listing that was on the initial list that they received, it's gonna notify, hey, there's a price reduction on this listing. So that's a few different triggers, new listing, back on the market, price reduction. The first one's gonna have all the properties. The next one, they don't get emailed until there's something new. So there's other options, there's daily. If you select daily, it's gonna send the same email every day. Whether there's changes or not, they're gonna get tired of that, they're gonna opt out of that. Then there's, you can check mark, just send it on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right, you do that, but again, it's gonna be the same email. The reason I like doing ASAP is because anytime they get a new email, it's something new that happened. And then you click on save. But hold on, I'm gonna add it here to my, oh, it's not the save search. Okay, then I'm gonna hit save and it's gonna set them up on auto email. So let's do save. And I'm gonna go up to my matrix, auto emails. And then you're gonna see it here. There it is. Any questions on that? Okay. So. Any questions at home? Michael, do you have a question? Or did you learn something new today? Because I told him he was gonna learn something new today. But I don't know if, you're muted, by the way, I don't know if you can hear me or not. All right. Okay, so let's go to, Orange County Tax Assessor's website. And I think this is it here. You have a street address?
Oh, no. That's-
125 culture. It's got an R in culture.
Didn't take. Let's find. 125?
Name is for Mel.
What was that?
It's for Mel.
It's not taking the,
Why is it doing that?
it's, I don't know, you guys saw the T,
I
right?
saw the T.
It's not, it's weird. L, T.
Look at Richard's coming out, it's very good.
No, it's weird, it's not. Street address, let's do Irvine, right?
Definitely exists.
It's 125?
Yeah, I've done an open house there 3 times.
Is it a new home?
It was built last year. It's fairly.
That might
It's
be,
on very,
that might
very
be.
high.
Let's do, let's do that. Fine. That's not gonna, is it gonna work? J, R, B, E, T. Okay, so you could do view printable PDF bill. And then it'll show you down here if there's any special taxes, special assessments, right there. See that?
And it would say Melrose in that section.
It doesn't say Melrose, it just says special assessments.
Yeah, but if there was, that they would say it, or
It just says special assessments, it didn't say Melrose. But anyway, that's how you would find that. Okay, that concludes today's class. If you guys have any questions, ask now. Nobody? Okay. So you guys can do a search? Alright. Can you guys send me a search results for like homework type of thing? If I just say, send me all active listings in the city of Orange. 3 to 4 bedrooms. Single family detached. So all active, the city of Orange. Single family detached, 3 to 4 bedrooms.
What do you want?
Don't send me up on an auto email, just send me the results.
Daily.
No, just select all the properties and click an email.
Morning and afternoon.
Exactly.
Remember, I have to opt into it.
Can you show us how to add or customize that screen?
How to customize this screen?
Yeah.
Well, you can
Are
just,
all of those?
everything's here, it's already there, you can just move it around, yeah, you can click on the blue bar and drag it over wherever you want it. This is just how I like to see it, but, yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
hopefully you guys send me those results, because I'm really looking for a house in the state of Orange, that's 3 to 4 bedrooms, it's single family detached.
What's your email address and
Carlos at cvplatinumproperties.
Okay. Carlos said, okay.
That's it,
No prices, just active.
just active. Yeah, I have unlimited funds, so I can afford any house that's 3 to 4 bedrooms.
that's a great buyer.
Yeah, all right, I will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good job.
you, Erin.